Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Gabi over here from Slap Punch Visuals, back at it again. It's been an extremely long time since I've even said those words. So today I'm going to be showing you how to play my original trading card game called Strata Crusher. It plays like you're reading a manga. Every card is literally straight out of my own manga called Me the Mumby. If you want to go ahead and check that out on Instagram, you can. Slap Punch Visuals on Instagram, and hit the link so that you can read the first 9 chapters that are fully colored up on Manga Plus Creator for right now. So let's go ahead and get it started, and I am going to be showing you how is it that I play this. So this is the board, and the board has been currently set. Since I'm playing against myself, I'm showing you the cards in the hand from the other players and the cards from the hand from mine and on the field. So the first thing you want to do, you start off with a life chapter volume. The decks in this game are called volumes. That's the volume of the actual manga. So you have 6 life pages, which, that's what we call the cards. You put in the life volume down here. They go face down. That would be every time you take a damage, you have to flip a card over. I will be playing with the Mumby volume today. So that's a thing. This is going to be Mumby versus Melody. Mumby is more of a tempo deck. Melody is more of a control deck. He discards your hand and stops you from doing a lot of things. Right now I'm searching for the leader. So what you do is that you search your deck for the main character, your protagonist, and you play it out there. And I cannot see the main character. Where is he? Where you at? Oh, he's right over here. I see him. Yeah, so this is the Mumby character. He goes right in the middle of the panel area. You have 3 different sections, right? This is the panel area where your characters go. This is the reaction area where your reaction pages go. The environmental area, strategy area, your volume area, which is your deck, your life volume. This is the life chapter volume, which is the deck of the life where you'll be taking damages, the damage where they go, the enraged volume, which would be the enraged leader right here. He will be saved for labor, and the discard pile. So what you do is that you'll shuffle the deck after getting that. I'll pull up this tab, and when you start the game, you draw 5 cards or 5 pages. So once you draw the 5 pages, you look at your hand. If you're satisfied with it, you keep it. If you're not, you could go ahead and put pages back and redraw. All right, so I'm going to put back these 2. These 2 will go back in the deck. And I would draw 2 more. And then I would take, wrong thing. I would take this, put it into the deck over here. And then you will shuffle. So then after that, you have to decide who goes first. So I'm going to say Mumby's going to get lows and Melody is going to get highs, and we're going to roll a dice. So highs is numbers 4, 5, and 6. So if I roll a 4, 5, and 6, Mumby will go first. If I roll 1, 2, and 3, Melody will go first. Let's roll it. So it was a number 3. So Melody is going to go first since he got lows. All right. So Melody has already drawn his 5 cards, shuffled, put back, and everything. So at the start of the game, if you go first, you draw 2 cards. I mean, everybody draws 2 cards per turn, but even the first player can draw 2 cards. You can set play cards, but you cannot attack. So this is a reaction page. You only have 3 areas, and I am going to set this reaction page. They usually go face down, but for the sake of the video and showing you how to play, I will be putting them face up. So I will play down that reaction area. That reaction page and that reaction area, and this other reaction page and the reaction area. And because I don't want to show off too much of what I have and what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass my turn. So it's going to be Mumby's turn. I have 5 cards or 5 pages, and I'm going to draw 2. Okay, so I'll draw 2 pages. This is what I have in hand. So typically what you want to do, the first player that goes first cannot attack. The second player can, though. So I am going to be setting up Melody, a size 1. So in your panel area, this is where your characters will go. this is your protagonist, your main character. You can only be dealt damage if your main character gets attacked, unless if another card says otherwise. Which I have, characters in this game that can deal damage even though they don't attack the main character. So you have 4 slots besides your main character, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. On these slots, you can play the character cards, right? The cards that says character underneath it. As you can tell, if I blow it up, you would be able to see it right here at the bottom left page. So he is a level 1, which is up here on the top left on the yellow. You can only have up to a total level of 5 on the board in your panel area. You cannot exceed a total level of 5, meaning you can have 4 level 1s, a level 2 and 3 level 1s, a level 3 and 1 level 2. There are also level 0s in the game. So even if you have a level 5 or total level 5 and you still have spaces out there, you can still play a level 0. You can just not exceed a total level of 5, right? So I'll play Melody. Then I'll go ahead and I'll play Alma. And I will also play this Mumby Head over here. Mumby Head games, right? Sometimes it's kind of hard to get the pages to fit, because we're on Steam and stuff. So I will play that. Then I will go ahead and let me see what this page does. Mumby, when your hero character gets destroyed, whereas 2 damages, play the destroyed character inactive, which is a really good card. But for right now, we're going for something a little bit different. So I am not going to play anything face down due to the fact since I have a redirect. A redirector would be kind of like a blocker. When they attack you, I can rest them, and he will take the hit, for me. So right now, what I would do, I will start the battle sequence, right? Since this is my field, every time you deal a damage and your opponent takes a damage, you will take 500 points, right? So for the sake of the video, when I was just showing you guys how to play stuff out there, I didn't activate what this card actually can do. So I'm going to go ahead and activate it now. I was just showing you guys that you can actually call things out. So the first card that I would have called out would be the Melody. And this card says restriction main character, meaning you can only activate it if you have the specified main character, which is a Melody. When your opponent's plays or activates a page from hand, they have to discard a page. If not, negate that page and send it to the discard pile, right? So on play with the Melody, he would have reacted, that's not permitted. It would have went to the discard pile. So he would have had to flip it face up, right? So if it was face down already, he would have flipped the face up, say that he was playing the card, and then, I would have to respond to his activation if I have anything to respond with, which I don't. So what would happen is that his activation would actually go through. So I will go ahead and discard a card at random, and I would discard Mumby over here. So Mumby would have had to hit the hay. So Mumby would have gotten discarded, go into the discard pile. And now my turn would have started, right? So I would have swung with the Mumby for 1,000 over to his Melody over here. Since he's 1,000, my attack could go through. He can activate a reaction, but you have to have at least 1 damage to put him rest to activate it. So he has to take the hit. When he takes the hit, you take the top card of your life volume, life chapter volume over here, and you place it in the damage face up. So once you place the damage face up, you will actually read the card ability, which is in the text box down over here, which on event, it says event, on damage, you draw 1 page. So Melody will actually draw 1 extra page to his hand or card. And then the Melody leader says event, this is the top one. On damage, you gain plus 500 power until the end of turn. And this is a mechanic pretty much stopping you from just trampling your opponent or bum rushing your opponent so that you could get a 1-turn kill. 1-turn kills in this game so far does not exist. So the token represents the 500. So Melody is currently at 1,500. Then I will attack with the Melody, and his effect goes off on attack, or his ability, which would be event restriction, the main character has to be Mumby, Melody, Wispy, Alma, or Rhythm, which we have Mumby, so his ability can go off. It says, on attack, if you control Alma, ready to help, gain plus 500 power and draw 1 page. Well, this Alma is called Alma Ready to Help, and she has the same ability that he has, so they feed off of each other, vice versa, while they're on the panel area. So I would swing with Melody, I would gain the 500 immediately, and I will actually draw the page immediately. Now my opponent has a chance to actually stop my attack or take the attack. Since he's at 1 damage face up, he is going to activate this card right here called Plot Armor. So he would have to flip it face up, of course, for the sake of the video. So he'll flip it face up, say that he's activating Plot Armor, and Plot Armor says if on attack, rest a damage. So what you will have to do is that you'll take the damage back here that you received from your life volume and turn it or rest it, tap it, right? And this would indicate that you're using this to activate the ability. You will negate the attack and end your opponent's attack phase. If the attacking character wasn't a protagonist, destroy that character, which the protagonist is the one that's in the middle, right? So Mumby will be a protagonist, Melody will be a protagonist. This would be a character card. So since he's not a protagonist, he will die and go right into the discard pile. And since he ends my attack phase or my battle phase, there is no main phase 2 in this game. It's draw phase, main phase, where you would set out your reactions, play your characters, activate characters' effects or abilities, play your environmental area pages, play your strategy pages, and possibly deal yourself a damage, right? Because you can deal yourself a damage in this game. So what would happen is that since there's no main phase 2 after the attack phase, you pretty much end your turn. If I would have any reaction pages set out, I could have activated a reaction page in response to his, or activate a reaction page in the response to my end phase. But since I don't have any of that, my turn is pretty much over, right? So this will go into the drop zone, and I will proceed to now end my turn. So his Melody will lose the 500 from the damage that he received because it's a brand new turn and it's on into the end of turn. So on the beginning of the turn, you will draw 2 pages. He flips over his hand. This is what he has. So he is going to set another That's Not Permitted down in the reaction page area. And this time around, he is going to activate this card called Replenish. Boom. So that will be set or played right here in the strategy area, since this is a strategy page. All strategy pages are blue, right? So this one says discard 2 pages from your hand. Switch 1 damage to active. Search any area for a reaction page and add it to your hand. Shuffle your volume afterwards. And you can only have up to 2 copies of this page in your volume. So since the card is pretty strong, I didn't want to have an all-out strong, card being 4 copies of, so we limited to 2. So what would happen is that I would untap this damage. So restanding this damage, because the damage doesn't restand. Once you tap the damage, it stays tapped, and unless if you use a card or your opponent uses a card that forces you to switch over your damage, right? Which is a good thing, because then that means you can activate more abilities more constantly throughout the game. So what would happen is that I have to discard 2 cards from my hand. So I am going to end up discarding. Let me read what this one says again. Choose a hero in your panel area on attack. Choose a page at random in your opponent's hand and discard it, put a random. Okay, so that card is actually really good. But if I was to decide which cards to keep, I will end up discarding this one. And I will end up discarding Rhythm over here. So Rhythm will go into the drop, discard. And this reaction page will go into the discard as well. And then Replenish, since it's being used, will also go into the discard. Now, any area means any area on the board, right? On his side of the board, he could get a reaction page and add it to the hand. It could be your discard, your volume, panel area, which you can't put anything in the panel area. reaction pages, which only reaction pages can be set in the reaction page. So pretty much it will be your discard and your value, right? So I'm going to get it from my discard. And I am going to get Plot Armor again, which is a really, really good card. It's called Plot Armor for a reason, right? So he'll put that back in his hand. He'll set it down, of course, because that's what you want to do. And then after this, there is no cards that he can currently play out of his hand. So what Melody is going to do, I'm going to activate the ability of my damage, of my life chapter. And what it says skill, restriction. Once per turn, even if you have multiple life chapters, meaning even if you have 2 or 3 of these pages in your damage, you can only activate 1 of the life chapter effect per turn, even if you have multiple. So it says this page, so it says deal yourself a damage. This page counts as the cost of 2 next time you activate a skill or event. Cost of 2 meaning that you have to rest it, right? So you will take a damage from your life and place it over here and turn it face up. I don't know, sometimes these pages want to go onto the spot where they're supposed to go, sometimes they don't. It's kind of wonky. So since I took a damage, I would draw a card or a page, because that's what it tells me to do, right? When you take a damage, it says on damage, draw 1 page. So the Melody will actually get the 500, because the event says on damage, gain plus 500 power until the end of turn. So this is a strategic way of getting yourself more life chapters to activate more effects on the turn and to gain more power and to draw a page, right? So since I drew a page, I will have Where Have You Been, which is rest 2 damages and search your volume for Rhythm Elf Chief and add it to your hand if I want to, right? Rhythm Elf Chief is this page right here. Currently, I am not going to do that because I don't want to do that. But I currently have enough that I can use to actually destroy one of his cards, which would be the Mumby Head Games, which is something that I'm not going to do. So for right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to attack with the Melody over to Mumby over here, right? So Melody, since I have 2 damages currently, he gains one of the following effects, which would be restriction damage 1, 2, 3, meaning this ability will go off as long as your damages are at from 1 to 3 damages, which would be on attack, you draw 1 page. Later down the line, once your damages go to 4 to 6, you will have the ability on attack, your opponent has to discard 1 page to activate a reaction page, which will no longer let you do this restriction of 1 to 3. This restriction becomes unavailable once you hit 4 damages and up, and you can only activate this ability on attack. This event, though, every time you take damage plus 500 is always active until we get to the plot twist. And the plot twist, I will tell you about that later. Right? So the Melody will attack to the Mumby for 15, and immediately you would draw 1 page because that's his ability. So that will go to your hand. And now I have the choice to either take the hit or redirect, which I can redirect with the Mumby Head, which will say redirect, change your opponent's attack to this character. That way I can redirect his attack. Instead of attacking the Mumby leader for me to take a damage, I can go ahead and redirect it to this character where he would die instead of Mumby taking the hit and eventually saving me from taking the damage. But we're at 0 damages. My hand, there's only 4 cards in my hand, and I want to draw, right? And I want to activate effects because the Mumby effect only starts going off once he's at 1 damage, will let you draw a page, on attack. And that's what you want, right? So I'm going to take the hit, giving myself the 500 to my leader. And then I would draw 1 page. What page I drew? I drew the Mumby that I discarded earlier. So that's pretty good. In this case, he cannot do any more attacks, and he cannot play or set any more cards since his battle phase is over. So it would be over to my turn. Now, on the end phase, he can activate any type of card, even from hand, if he has, a page that has an ability from hand. But in this situation, he doesn't. So he will lose the 500. my Mumby will lose to 500. And I will put him in active. So since it's my turn, I will draw for turn, which is 2 pages. So I draw the 2 pages for turn, right? Bam. So I have the Alma out there. I have the Mumby out there. I only have a total level of 1. I could still summon out something more that has up to a total level of 4. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to deal myself a damage, right? I'm going to go ahead and deal myself a damage. Meaning I would just receive the damage. Now, when you deal yourself a damage, you don't just deal it just to deal it. You have to have a damage already active to activate the skill to draw and deal yourself a damage, pretty much. I'm going to draw the 1 page. My Mumby gets a plus 500. And my hand will go from 7 to 8. So now in this situation, I will have these 2 out here, right? So I am going to play a Pollen, even though he has a cost restriction of 2. So with the cost restriction of 2, I'm going to tell you what that is right now. So if you look at the page, on the top left-hand corner, you'll see level, you'll see restriction, you'll see damage. This red diamond that says restriction 2 means you have to have at least 2 damages dealt to yourself before you can actually play that page or that character out there. So since I do have 2, I can play him out. Then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to play the Mumby, which he has a cost restriction of 1, as you can tell right here. So now you're going to say, wait, hold up, but the Mumby has a total level of 2 and the Pollen has a total level of 3. You can't do that because you have the Alma out there. Well, part of the rules is that you can actually go ahead and remove a character if there's too many levels out there more than what you can have. So basically, if you would play like Card Fight Vanguard, you can call a character on top of the other one by just removing it out of play. This is basically the same situation. So I'm going to call Pollen and I'm going to call Mumby out there, or play Pollen and play Mumby out there. Then I am going to tap 2, which is really tapping 1, but since I dealt myself the damage with the life chapter ability, this counts as a cost of 2 until the end of turn when I play it, right? And the card that I am going to play is going to be Zombies. So right when I play Zombies, the Melody Leader can react, which he's going to activate That's Not Permitted, which is every time I play a card or activate a card from my hand, I can use it, and my opponent has to discard a card from the hand. If not, you negate the activation of the play of that page, which I will discard this one, Quick Draw. So I will discard Quick Draw, so that way the activation of Zombies can actually go through. What Zombie says is rest 2 damages, which I did, and choose a set reaction page and destroy it. So his plot armor, which is set, face up for you guys, it would be like this, I would choose it and it would get destroyed. Meaning when I attack now, I am free to attack without worrying him using any type of reaction pages. So you always want to try to get rid of that, right? So since I use Zombies will actually go into my drop on my discard pile right over here. Okay, so now I am going to use Hot Dog Swirl. So the Hot Dog Swirl, what it does is I can put 1 damage in active. So the damage that I'm going to put in active is the damage that I dealt myself that's counted for 2 damages per turn. So you can strategically use this to regain another cost of 2, basically. So the card really, really comes in handy. It will go into my discard pile. All right. So now since we have this going on, I can actually go ahead and activate Replenish if I want to. But since I'm only at 2 damages and I have a redirect, I don't really have too much concerns to go get a plot armor because it's early game. So I don't want to, waste all my resources. What I do want to do now, I'm going to set this out that when a hero character gets destroyed, rest 2 damages, play the destroyed character and active. That's a really good card to play. So I'm going to set that in my reaction page. And now I'm going to start my battle phase. So currently we're both at 2 damages. I will swing with the Mumby leader first since he is the weakest. Because every time you deal a damage to your opponent, remember, he gains 500 for every damage you deal to him. So you always want to try to calculate which is the weakest attack that can connect into the next, that can connect into the next without disrupting the flow of damages that your opponent can potentially get hit by. So Mumby will swing for the 1500. Since I'm at 2 damages, his ability will kick off where I would immediately draw 1 page. Even if he negates the attack or not, I could still draw the page. Swing for 15. He can activate a negate from hand, but for right now, he's just going to take it, right? So he's going to take the hit, giving himself a damage, flipping it over. Since he took the hit, he gets to draw 1 page immediately. There's nothing that can stop that. Draw 1 page and gain the 500. So he will be at 1500 now. So now the next page that I want to attack with is Mumby, since he's 2000 and Paladin is 3000. So I will swing with the Mumby for the 2000, right? So on attack, I can rest 1 damage. And if on hit, I can search my volume or discard pile for Mumby and Pollen tag and add it to my hand. So that's what I actually want to do. I am going to tap the damage that is worth 1, not the one that's worth 2. So now if my opponent takes this hit, I can pretty much search my volume or my discard pile for this specific card or page and add it to my hand. I have 1 in hand. That's why I'm showing you who it is. And basically what this page is a tag page. So long as I have Mumby early and Pollen early, I can pretty much discard both of them to play this page. That's the only way that you can play tag characters, right? So him knowing this, he would want to try to negate that attack and not take it. So he would activate Rhythm from his hand, because Rhythm has a hand effect. It says restriction, main character melody. From hand, discard this page and negate the attack. So he will discard the Rhythm. He will negate my attack, meaning he won't hit, he won't take damage. He won't search for the Mumby and Pollen tag, stopping him from gaining cards to his hand. Now Pollen will go ahead and swing at him for 3000, and he has a chance to react, which he does because he has another Rhythm in his hand, so he will negate that attack too. Now, this Pollen is really dangerous because even if he destroys a character, he deals 1 damage to your opponent. So you really want to stop his attack. You don't want to redirect, because if you redirect, let's say with a Mumby head or whichever one it is, trying to mitigate the damage from your main character over to him, Pollen is one of those pages that even if he doesn't attack your main character, he can still deal damage if he destroys a character. So you got to watch out with that. There are a couple of cards in this game that does that. They mostly have a high level or a high cost to actually play them. So at this point, I can't do anything else. He blocked all of my attacks, so now it's his turn, right? So my Mumby will lose the 500. His Melody will lose the 500. He would put his Melody inactive, and then he will draw 2 for turn, right? This is the 2 he draws. Flips them over. It would be a grandfather and this one. Okay, so since he's currently at 3 damages, he can start playing his big characters, the level 5s. Most of the level 5s in this game has a life restriction of 3, stopping you from playing, really big cards early on in the game. So I have a couple of cards that I could do here. And what I want to do, I want to stop this Pollen. This Pollen has to go because he's dangerous. He's 3000 and he deals the damage if he destroys something. So what I am going to do, I am going to essentially deal myself a damage. I am going to deal myself a damage. And I know it sounds kind of risky because it's going to put me at 4. You only have six life chapters in total, right? So once you go to all 6 life chapters, bing, 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 you went to plot twist and then the game is almost over. So you will draw off of the damage that you dealt yourself, and the Melody will gain the plus 500 to the end of turn. So now this opens up my chances of doing something even greater, because now I can use 1 damage to be counted as 2 instead of 1. So basically, I can pretty much activate a total cost of 5 when it comes to ability instead of the 4. So what I'm going to do, I am going to activate Zombie Method. Zombie Method says rest 3 damages. Choose a page from any area on the board and destroy it. You can also activate this page during your opponent's battle phase from your hand. So it's kind of like a reaction page in your hand that your opponent is not waiting on. So you can strategically bait him out to do something. Since this one counts as 2, I'm going to tap that one. And then I'm going to tap another one, putting it to a total of 3, right? So it's the 3. It's the 3 that I use. Well, that one won't go on top of that one for some reason. And I am going to choose his Pollen over here early. And I am going to destroy it. So Pollen would have hit the discard pile. Now, I have a chance to react to it, which I will. So basically, I'm going to be flipping over. I won't give up, which is when your hero character gets destroyed, rest 2 damages, play the destroyed character inactive. So I do not. Yeah, I don't have to. My bad. Hold up. Whoa. Yeah, that's crazy. If he would have done down on the last turn, yeah, I could have done it. So yeah, the Pollen dies. There's nothing I can do about it. Still his turn. He is going to be playing out Second Symphony out into his reaction, setting it, and he is going to get Plot Armor and set that as well. So he has a total of 5 in hand, nothing on the field. This time around, he's going to play the Big Mumby, right? Why not? Because the Big Mumby is good. And he is also going to be playing this card right here. We have guessed. No, where have you been? Which you rest 2 damages and search your volume for Rhythm Elf Chief and add it to your hand. Rhythm Elf Chief is the one that lets you hold up. No. I don't want to do that. I forgot that I placed this. Yeah. Okay. So let's keep going. So what you want to do, you're at 15. He has a redirect. You want to make sure that you can knock off as many of the characters that he has on the field as possible and try to deal damage. Right now, the Mumby volume is actually winning. Place this, which is search your volume for the following characters and put into your discard pile, and then you discard a page at random from your opponent's hand. So I'm going to activate Mana Training. I'm going to search. It says I have to search for who? Search for Rhythm, Alma, or Mumby. So one of those 3 characters, and I can put it in to my discard pile from my volume. Which this volume has a certain requirement that you can do with the Mumby, where you want to keep discarding character cards from your volume into the discard, and I'm going to tell you why right now. Okay, so I chose this Rhythm, goes into the discard, and now he gets to discard 1 from my hand at random. Since he can't see, and I'm playing against myself, I'm doing any, meeny, miny, mo type situation. Any, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger. Father told mama, said to pick this one. So, damn, replenish. So he will actually discard a replenish from my hand, which is actually really good, important card in the damn deck because it gets you the Plot Armor and you can recycle it over again, right? So he's messing me up. So he's messing up my hand. So that's what the Melody deck does. It controls, messes up your hand, puts characters in the discard pile so you can start doing things. So now, since I'm at 4 damages, we go to the second phase of the ability on Melody. So on attack, your opponent has to discard 1 page to activate a reaction page when this character attacks. So whenever he attacks, if he wants to use something like Plot Armor or anything I have down here, you would force your opponent to discard a page. So Melody would attack for the 1500 over to my Mumby. So I will actually take the damage since I'm only at 2, and it's not too bad. I will take the damage, flip it over. The Mumby will gain the 500, and I will draw a page because of the damage I drew into Wispy. So this will put me at 3. He will be at 4. Now he will swing with his big boy Mumby over to my Mumby. So this is where this Mumby gets kind of dangerous because he has an ability. It's called Rage. And what Rage does is that this character gains +1 damage for every 5 hero pages in your discard pile, and plus 500 power for every 10 damages in your discard pile. If you want to know where the damage is located, it's right underneath on the top left. It's the blue. So he will be swinging for 2 damages. So if he actually hits my leader, my main character, my protagonist, I will go from 3 damages to 5, which I don't want to take that hit because I'm not crazy, right? So before we do anything, he has 11 pages in the discard. He will gain the 500. So that means this Mumby is actually swinging for 3,500, and he will stay at 3,500 even after he ends his turn. So we're going to view to see how many characters we have. Rhythm is a character, that's 1. 2 more character rhythms, that's 3. And then you'll have that's in the other character rhythm 4. If he would have had 1 more character, he would have been swinging for 3 damages, potentially putting me in the red zone of losing, right? So what I would do, I would activate the redirect of this Mumby. It's called Mumby Head Games, which he will take the hit instead of my main character or my protagonist. So this Mumby will take the hit. So this Mumby goes into the drop area. And when he does, he has an ability that activates. And his ability says this. Event restriction, main character, Mumby Alma Melody, Wispy, or Rhythm. It says, when destroyed by battle, which he was, search your volume for a copy of this character and play it inactive. Right? So we will search. Well, I got to get rid of this from right here. So we will search the volume for another Mumby and just play it out there inactive. So ideally, you would want one of these Mumbies in your starting hand of the game, and then wish you have all the other rest of the Mumby heads in the volume. So that way you could potentially block 4 attacks back to back to back to back, basically. So he can't do anything else. So at this point, he ends his turn, right? Mumby loses the 500. Melody loses the 500. And I get to stand. And I would draw the 2 for turn, right? Which would be these 2. Bam. So during that turn, I only received 1 damage. It's putting me up to 3. So in my hand, what I have right here, I have a pretty good thing going on. I am going to play the Pollen early. Then I'm going to activate Tag, which the tag would say restriction, play by removing Mumby early and Pollen early from the panel area. So they will both be removed. Event restriction, main character Mumby or Pollen on attack, rest 1 damage until the end of turn, gain power equal to the target. So basically, this character will always destroy every character that he will play at, but it comes on the cost of you losing 2 of your characters out there, right? But it's okay because he has that ridiculous Mumby out there for the 3,500 that I cannot destroy unless if it's with Mumby and Pollen Tag, right? Because he will gain the attack power, pretty much overthrowing him by 2,000 and killing the dude, if he can't stop me. So theoretically. And all tag characters count as a level 0. So basically I have 2 level 0 cards, and this page is overpowered right now. So I can still go ahead and play a level 5, which would be this one, Mumby. I'm a Mumby. So his restriction is that my leader has to be a Mumby, and on battle, he cannot be redirected. And he can attack active character pages. So he's a really good remover for when it comes to characters that they're holding on to, redirectors, or certain characters that they didn't want to attack with because they don't want for that character to be a target. You could just play out that big Mumby and start slapping them in the face, right? So at this point, the battle will commence. And since I'm at 3 damages, I'm going to swing with the Mumby first, so that way I can get a chance of drawing a card immediately, right? So on attack, I get to draw because I'm at 3 damages. And my opponent now can go ahead and activate an effect, which he will because he's not stupid. He sees all the attacks that's coming. He can either take the hit and then bait for a big dude to attack and remove them, right? So what he's going to do now, he's going to play strategically. He's going to do Second Symphony, which is you negate the attack, choose one page from your opponent's hand at random, and discard it. So on top of that, it's a negate. He's also going to be able to discard potentially a card that I just drew, right? So it's any, mini, money, mo, because it's to pick this one. So it's the one in the middle. Boom. So Wispy will go. Wispy's actually really good too. It's a searcher. So Wispy will get destroyed or discarded. And now I want to get rid of this Mumby. So I would swing, activate his ability, which is tapping 1, and I would gain his power, which is the 3,500 that he has. So basically, this tag character is swinging for 5,500 to his 3,500 Mumby. And at this point, since he doesn't want to lose the Mumby and he wants to get rid of this dude because he's annoying, he would tap one of his damages and he will activate Plot Armor, which Plot Armor negates the attack and ends your opponent's attack phase. And if the attacking character wasn't a protagonist, destroy that character. So he can end my turn, negate the attack, and destroy my Mumby and Pollen tag. So that was a really good move. And I can't do anything else based off of that. I can't even activate this because I don't have enough damages to activate that and restore them and restore the Mumby and Pollen tag. So at this point, my turn gets ended. So his Melody restands, his Mumby restands, and then he gets to draw 2 for turn. Goes, draws 2 for turn. He has this in hand, which is pretty good. He has a redirect, which is Rhythm's Messenger Bird. And he will go ahead and play the Rhythm's Messenger Bird out there. So when he gets played out there, he could deal himself a damage, but at this point, you don't really want to because you're in a good, comfortable spot. And, once you get to 6, that's when things get scary. So he's going to swing with the Melody over to the Mumby. I cannot activate reaction pages unless if I discard a card from my hand. And I don't want to do that because I only have 2 cards in hand. So do I either take the damage or redirect? This Mumby is going to swing for really high numbers. So I can possibly redirect with this and redirect with the other one and block all these damages, right? And then take a damage on my next turn so that way I can gain the 500 and have an extra +2 to activate. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to redirect with the Mumby by resting him. Mumby is going to take the hit, which redirects works really good against the Melody deck because it bypasses the whole, you can't do reaction unless if you discard. So how many more Mumby heads do I have left? I should have 2, right? Which is 1 over here, of course, and there should be 1 more in here. Yeah, there's 1 more. So as long as I don't draw into him, it should be all good. I'll shuffle the deck again because you have to shuffle. So now he is going to swing with this Mumby. And this Mumby has 13. He's going to be swinging for 2 damages. I'm going to redirect, of course, because I'm not crazy. I'm not trying to take 2 damages. And Mumby's going to absorb the hit for the main character, which will land him in the discard pile. And his effect will activate again, which I can go ahead and search for the other Mumby head, the last Mumby head that I have, and play it inactive. Where is it? Oh, he's right here. Play that Mumby head inactive. Then I have to shuffle my volume. So my opponent can't really do anything past that. He doesn't have any reaction pages out. He's at 4 damages. I'm at 3. It looks really good for the Mumby deck. So Mumby's turn, he will restand. And then I would draw 2 pages for turn. Okay, just Pollen and the other dude. Well, I can't really summon out anybody else because I got the level 5 big head Mumby out there, so that's pretty good. 4 damages, if I believe correctly. I will set this. Set that out there. And minimize. I'm going to swinging. So since I'm still at 3 damages, I can still draw. For the effect of the card. So I'm going to swing with the Mumby over to the Melody for 1,000. I would draw immediately, put in my hand to 4. So I drew the big Mumby. Now it's up to my opponent if he wants to do something or not, activate a reaction page or whatever. So he has a redirect as well. That's another thing. So what he's going to do, he is going to redirect, mitigate the damage with Rhythm's Messenger Bird. And Rhythm's Messenger Bird will go into the drop. Now, Rhythm's Messenger Bird has a after battle effect or ability, which is after battle, when destroyed, search any area for Rhythm, Wise Old Man, and play it inactive. That could be your drop or your volume. So at this point, you want to get it from the volume because you don't want to take away any type of characters from your drop, because Mumby feeds off of the characters from your drop so that he can gain extra damage when he attacks and extra power as well. So we will take out Rhythm. And now the big Mumby, since he can attack people directly to the face, big Mumby's actually going to attack the Rhythm that he just called out there. And the reason for this is because once per turn, let me blow it up. Once per turn, when you take damage, your protagonist gains plus 500 power to the end of turn, then you draw 1 page. So when you take a damage, instead of you gaining the 500 and draw off of the damage, it would be plus 1,000 and draw 2. You know? So this dude got to go, because you can also use him strategic on your turn and deal yourself a damage, gain 1,000, draw 2 pages, and this meta dude will sit there for 2K looking at you. And if you have 2 of this dude out here, it will be 1,500 and draw 3. That's why he got to get restricted down to once per turn. So he will swing for the 2K over to the Rhythm. The Rhythm will die. I mean, Mumby couldn't kill this dude because he's at 3,500, so why not swing at this other one? And at this point, I am going to end my turn. So he will restand. He will draw 2 for turn. 2 he drew would be that and that. He's at 4 damages. So this will get kind of crazy now. There's nothing that I can do except for pretty much set this and then rest 2 damages and search your volume for Rhythm. I have to rest 2 to do that. So do I want to? Do I not? Can I take damage or not? That's the problem. I'm actually going to do it, because if I don't, then I can't really block too much is what I want to do. So I'm going to deal myself the damage, even though it's a risky move, but sometimes you got to take risk moves, right? Deal myself a damage. Tap this over. Give my melody the plus 500. Draw 1 off of it. And then I'm going to use this to tap S2 since it counts S2. So that way I could go ahead and play So I go ahead and play Where Have You Been? Rest 2 damages, search your volume for Rhythm, Elf Chief, and add it to your hand. Which we go into the volume. Review. Where's the Elf Chief? Elf Chief is right here. Let's see if I have any more Elf Chiefs here, which I don't. So that was my last Elf Chief from my volume, which he is a negate from hand. We currently have another one in hand. So we have 2 negates from hands now, just sitting there. And there's nothing else we could do. The melody has a lot of character cards in his hand, but I haven't been drawn into strategy pages and reaction pages, which that's what you want to do, because, you can only have up to a certain level on the field. So, pretty much he has a bad hand right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to activate like Master, like Student, which I choose a hero in my panel area, and on attack, I could choose a page at random from my opponent's hand and discard it and put a damage inactive, which is good. So I'm going to activate it, and I'm going to use it on the Mumby. So when the Mumby attacks, I get to restand the damage or put a damage inactive and discard a card from my opponent's hand. The melody is at 1,500, and I am going to swing for the 15. For him to activate a reaction page, I have to discard a card from my hand. I currently have 4. 4. Don't really want to discard anything. And I'm at 3 damages. So I could take the hit. I'm going to take the hit. Flipping this over. Giving my Mumby leader plus 500. And I draw 1. So I draw 1. Putting myself up to 5. I drew the Wispy. So that's pretty good. So I took the hit. Now the Mumby is going to attack. And let's see how much is it that he's actually attacking for. 17. He's still at the 35. And let's see how many character cards do you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he meets the requirement. For every 5 heroes, he gains a damage. So that means this Mumby is now swinging for 3 damages instead of the 2. So this dude is a problem. So he swings for 3,500, 3 damages over to my Mumby. I can either take the hit or try to negate it, right? So I do have a redirector out there, so I could just redirect the attack whenever I want to. Or I could go ahead and activate this, but it's kind of risky because if I destroy 3 or more, I get Mumby early and Pollen early from any area and play one of these 2 inactive and put the other in my hand and shuffle my volume if I search. But don't want to do that right now. You don't also have to meet all the requirements to do certain pages effects too, just to let you know. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to redirect because I'm not crazy. I'm not going to take those damages. Redirect, take the hit. The Mumby dies. I can't search for any more because that was the last one in my volume. And there's nothing else that he can actually do. He does restand the damage, my bad, on attack. He did get a chance to restand the damage. Basically, he's going to end his turn. He's at 5 damages. I'm at 4. So we're almost rearing into the stage of plot twist. And I'm going to tell you what plot twist is, right, when we get to it. My turn. I draw 2 for turn. That will be 7 cards in hand. I still have the big Mumby out there. He's still pretty good. But I can't really do anything else with it. I can't really play anybody else either. So I'm pretty much stuck with the big Mumby for right now. But it's okay, because all I want to do is deal this dude the damage. Now, he loses the 500. Since it's my turn, or the turn ended. Mumby loses the 500 as well. My bad on that one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to swing with my Mumby over to his. Now, this Mumby has a specific thing. Since I'm at 4 on attack, I can search my discard pile and add 1 level 1 or lower Alma or Melody to my hand. So who do I have in my hand? I have the Melody. So what I want to do, I want to go and search for the Alma, which I'm pretty sure she's in here, right here. Take her from the drop. And now I can add her right into my hand, which I will. And I'll be swinging for 1,000 over to the Melody. He can either take the hit or he can negate. He's at 5 damages. He has 2 negates in hand, but he still has to negate this dude right here. So what he would do, he'll take the hit, put himself at 6 damages. You will gain the 500, and you'll get to draw 1 page. Now, you would think he has all 6 damages dealt to him, so you would think that, well, don't stack up. So you would, oh God, sorry. So you would think that he had lost the game, but no, this is where the game goes for a twist. It's called plot twist. So once you have 6 damages, no matter whose turn it is or what's happening, you can always activate plot twist. And plot twist activates by playing one of the cards or the pages that's in your enraged volume. You can have up to 5 in your enraged volume. Right now, we only have 1 for the sake of, teaching the game. And you can play this on top of this page right over here, right? So he will get placed on top of him. Boom, which would be this Melody. Now, for the sake of the video, since they don't let you read the top card, I'm just going to remove this dude from play so we can be able to read the top card. And basically, plot twist, play on top of a main character. Plot twist is achieved once you enter 6 damages. So for the way to win the game now, after you deal all 6 damages to your opponent, which is right here, you have to deal 1 extra damage. And once you do, you win the game. So right now, went into plot twist, goes into this melody. He's at 3,000. Since I took the damage earlier, he's at 3,500. So this Mumby can't even hit him now, right? Unless if I can activate cards from hand, which I'm going to swing with the Mumby. And this is where it gets interesting. Since I can activate after he decides to react or not, I can try to trick my opponent into thinking that I'm bluffing or not. Now, if he thinks it's a bluff and he doesn't activate anything to stop me, like one of these rhythms from hand, I can go ahead and combo with this card that he doesn't know that I have in my hand that says, during battle, I can rest 1 damage and I gain plus 500 power to the end of battle and draw 1 page. So potentially, if he doesn't negate right now, I can trick him into taking the hit, me activating these pages, Mumby gaining the attack, and winning the game. So it becomes a mind game. So for the sake of the battle, I am going to actually negate with the rhythm, discarding him from hand and negating the attack. Now, my opponent still don't know if I have something or not, but in his mind, he was like, damn, it was a bluff. But if it was a bluff, he could have easily lost that game against me. So, yeah. So I end my turn. The melody loses the plus 500. The Mumby restands. The melody restands. Everything goes back into active except for your damages. And you'll draw 2 for turn, right? Now, this melody deck has a lot of survivability, like a lot of survivability. So it's crazy. I would want to play this down. I can only have an active of 3 now, which is crazy. But if I activate this, then on attack, I can restand it, which I'm going to activate it right now. And I'm going to give it to the Mumby. So when Mumby attacks, he will discard a card from my hand and he will restand the damage. So I will do that. And now I'm going to go ahead and tap 3. Well, not save, tap. Why it won't let me tap it? What's going on? Yeah, that was kind of weird. So I will tap 3 to activate zombie method. So at this point, trying to go ahead and reorganize everything. I'm sorry. Yeah, so at this point, I'm at all damages tapped out. But thanks to the reaction page, when the Mumby swings, I can go ahead and do something else. So I'll activate zombie method, which is rest 3 damages, choose any page from any area of the board, and destroy it. So that's what I'm going to do. He has 2 reaction pages back here that, of course, I don't know what it is. But I'm going to choose one of those and destroy it just in case. So I would have chose this one. Bam. That gets destroyed no matter what. Okay, boom. It could have been a plot armor. If it was, it could have potentially won me the game if I destroyed it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to activate this effect, which is choose a page in your panel area until the end of turn. On attack, your opponent cannot activate reaction pages against it. So I'm going to give that effect over to the Mumby over here. He's at 4 damages. I'm going to swing with this Mumby over, tapping him. I am currently at how many cards in my drop area? 20. So that means he's at 4,000 now. 4,000. Wow, why did they merge? 4,000, and he has the extra 1 damage. So he's swinging for 3 damages, 4,000 over to the Mumby. And I cannot activate reaction pages. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the hit. Once you take the hits and you don't have any more life cards in your life chapter to deal damage or to take more damage, you stop taking damage. Like, it doesn't count to your plot twist because you go into plot twist after the 6 damages, so everything else stops. Then your opponent has to deal you an extra damage. So even if you swing for 5 damages or 8 damages or 10 damages, you just can't end somebody. They have to last 1 turn in plot twist afterwards, because it has to happen. So since I took 2 cards, 2 damages. I draw 2, giving me this Mumby. And this one, I'll have 10 cards from hand. And my Mumby will gain 1,000. 1,000 damages, right? Boom. So now he is going to swing with this dude over to mine. And since I'm in plot twist, I'm going to activate my plot twist. And I am going to go into my enraged Mumby. Meaning this Mumby, you know, he gets played on top of the Mumby, but we already know why I'm not doing it. So this Mumby gets played out there. Right here. Boom. So putting me at 3,000 plus the 1,000 damage I took, I'm at 4,000. He cannot hit me. I am not going to activate any type of reactions. He doesn't have anything to react to. So at this point, he's going to end his turn. So end his turn, Mumby will lose the 1,000. And I will restand this Mumby. And I will draw another 2. So I have 12 cards in hand. That's crazy. This Mumby deck draws a lot. So I still have the big boy Mumby out there. I want to keep him out there. And let's see what this does. Rest 1 damage, negate the attack, put your character inactive, and the game's redirect. That card is actually really good. Gonna play this, and I'm gonna set this again. All 3 of these are negates, just to let you know, which doesn't work, you know, to the person that he gives it to, but you know. So I have to kill him this turn, because if I don't, I have no type of redirects, I have no type of blockage, no nothing. He can potentially kill me. And the protagonist of abilities do get kind of overpowered once you go into plot twist, because it's meant to end the game. That's why that melody has that ridiculous ass effect where you can't redirect. You choose one, you can't redirect. This Mumby is crazy too. On attack, I can put one inactive 1 hero character, and that page gains the attack power of this page until the end of battle. So potentially, I'm going to show you what is it that I'm about to do right now. I'm going to swing with the Mumby over to the melody. Now, it's up to him if he has a negate or not, which he does. He goes and plays the negate from his hand, which is the grandfather over here. Plays the negate, discard it. Goes into the discard pile. So now I'm going to swing with the Mumby, 3,000 over to his, and activate his effect, and restand Mumby. I'm a Mumby. And this Mumby is going to gain plus 3,000, because he is going to gain the attack power of the protagonist. So putting this Mumby at 6,000 until the end of battle of his next battle, which is crazy. So at this point, my opponent has to either redirect or block from hand, which currently he has nothing out here to redirect. This is not a redirect. He has nothing to block from hand, so I would deal the damage, and the Mumby leader will take the game. So GG's. I don't know how many turns that was, because I wasn't keeping track. After the video, I will go ahead and actually see how many turns it actually was. It's been a long time since I have done a video. I'm going to be actually getting this game and putting it into a digital game soon, as soon as possible, of course, as soon as I can, basically. I've been talking to a game designer and everything else. So I've been testing out the game a lot and doing different things, and you know, so the game is pretty good, as you can see. It's very interactive. Both players could do things back and forth, and it's very reminiscent of a couple of card games as well, but it plays totally different from everything else, as you can tell yourself. If you're a TCG player as well, you could tell. If you want to actually play the deck through Steam and all of this and hit me up, you can. I'll send you the files. We could play. You can build your own deck. You can do whatever you want. There's currently 93 different cards in total done for Strata Crusher. I have a manual as well, a visual digital manual of 31 pages that can teach you how to play the game too. So yeah, I will probably be doing more matchups in the future of Strata Crusher, so you guys can go ahead and see the different decks. There's currently 5 decks that I have out. I have Mumby, which is a tempo deck. Melody, as you can see, he was hand destruction and control. I have an Alma deck, which is a hybrid, very defensive. It could be aggressive as well. We have a Pollen deck that's a rush down deck, and there's a Will-O-Wisp deck, which he is board wipe. He wipes your board and does a lot of crazy stuff. Every character in the card game plays or fights the way how the character fights in the manga called Me the Mummy. Like I said, you could go ahead, look it up on Instagram, Slap Punch Visuals. Hit the link that's there and go read it at Manga Plus Creators. There's currently 9 chapters, 40 colored, almost 300 pages worth of chapters up there for you to read. And yeah, like I said, there's your boy Gabi from Slap Punch Visuals, and peace out. You already know it.